being comfortable in the uncomfortable is something that not a lot of people understand. Whatever your path is, wherever you feel and dream to go there, because there's nobody that's going to ever stop you. There's nobody that's ever going to tell you that you're not good enough.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul Tully with the FY Podcast. We got another episode and another great guest. Today, I'm sitting here with Nikita Privalov. We're going to talk a little bit about Nikita's journey, growing up in New York, upstate to be exact, such a beautiful place, and his journey into culinary and now into acting here in LA. So let's jump into it.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and it's an honor to be here. So my name's Nikita Privalov, and I was born in Nyack, New York, and my parents are from Russia originally. They immigrated in 1992, and they came over and they left a very hard situation to come over for a better life in the United States. So I'm very grateful that they came over, and I was born in this country as opposed to Russia, where it's, not so easy to live. So got to always be grateful for that. Thanks, Mom and Dad. So.
It's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, that's a big journey. That's a big sacrifice. I was just having a conversation with one of the producers we were just talking about like immigration and, their family had come over from South America, from Mexico. Yeah. So we were just talking about that. And it's amazing the sacrifice that, people do when they immigrate here for their families and how much it affects their lineage. So being first generation. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a big risk. My father came over first and then, sent a fax back to my mom. And then my mom came over. So he came over first. My mom came over second. Wow. It was like in October of 1992. My brother was born. And then 5 years later, in 97, I was born.
Amazing.
As my father would say, we carried the mattress on our heads and we slept on the floor and we did whatever we had to do. So, it's a lot of people. I mean, this country is formed on immigration, the melting pot.
Sure.
So many people came over from all over, the Irish, the Germans, the Italians, the Russians, Portuguese, Mexicans, Honduras, you name it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the work ethic and the workforce that they provide. I mean, I've worked in the kitchen for many, many years alongside many hardworking people from these countries, and it's inspiring to see how hard they work. Honestly,
no, it truly is. When I got out of the Navy, I went back to New York. I was in the process of becoming a NYPD, so I took the written test and the agility test, and you have to go through all these things. And during the process, takes a little bit of time. During the process, I was working for one of my father's friends in New York City. He had a company where they installed windows in the high schools.
Oh, okay.
So, but I worked on a team of, it was mainly guys from Honduras. And there was some females on there too, but it was like predominantly guys from Honduras that were working on this team. And I remember I got to know them, and, we'd eat lunch together, and they were living there was this one crew, I think it was 7 of them, 7 or 8 of them, but they had come up from Honduras together. Yeah. And they were working alongside all of us, and they shared an apartment in Harlem. They shared a 1-bedroom apartment. It was 7 or 8, I forget, but they said they would basically just, the whole living room was mattresses. Yeah. They had the bedroom, and they had a bathroom, and they would just work, man, and send money home. And
exactly.
It was incredible to see the work ethic,
Exactly. I mean, me being a chef, I started working in the kitchen when I was a really young boy. My mom, she held down 3 jobs. She taught gymnastics. She worked in an office and did catering on the weekends. And when I got old enough, I don't know what old enough means, because when I found out they were like, Nikita, you need a working papers to work. I was like, working papers? I've been working since I was 10 years old. So, so I started working when I was really young and, fell in love with cooking. fell in love with the prep, with the whole process, going on events, coming back, like satisfying customers and stuff like that. And my mom got me into that. And, that's what we did when we were younger. We worked, we worked. And sooner or later, you grow, you get better at it, and then you have to, I have a lot of kitchen survival stories.
Yeah, so, let's talk about it. So you grew up in Nyack. I love the area. I spent some time up there. I was just telling you off camera, up there in near Rome, New York, Rome and in Camden. Upstate New York, for anybody who's from upstate or been there, beautiful, unbelievable, right? Well, like when you think of New York, you only think of the city, but upstate is unbelievable.
The foliage, fellas, the foliage, please. The foliage is just great. You're driving through upstate New York in that right moment in October, November-ish. But now everything gets so cold so fast. So
true.
You got to drive fast.
You got to drive quick. Observe as you go.
Exactly.
But I would say I encourage, would like your traveling channel now, but I would encourage anybody in the New York area, if you're visiting, if you have enough time, take a day trip upstate. It'll blow your mind. It's incredible. It's just like being in another world. It's nothing like New York City. Obviously, I grew up in New York City. I love New York City, but upstate's amazing. So you grew up over there.
Yes.
Come from I see hardworking family.
Exactly, yeah.
And you found out you had a love for culinary, obviously young. Because
at a very young age, yeah.
So how did you pursue that? For anybody who's interested in culinary, was it something you studied after school or?
Well, let me explain. So, as I said, I started when I was young.
Yeah.
Around like 10, 11 years old. I was washing dishes. I was prepping. I was throwing out the garbage, sweeping the floors, doing what needed to be done. And I enjoyed it. And as I grew older, I got my own gigs. And, I used to work for this place called Casimir Manor House. That doesn't exist anymore. But it was a high volume catering kitchen. And that's where I did massive amounts of dishes and massive amounts of repetition, prep work, and knife skills, and just really getting down to the fundamentals and mastering those. Because if you master those, you're capable of working faster, harder, and you're capable of serving more customers in a more efficient environment. So that's how it all kind of you start young, you gradually build, and I had to. It wasn't easy for me.
Yeah.
And it was not easy for me, working in those environments when I got older, because in a kitchen, majority of the people are of South American descent, of Hispanic descent. And it wasn't necessarily easy for me to get along with everybody. I tried my best.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they did everything in their power that they could to disrupt or get me fired. They would throw toothpicks in my mashed potatoes. They would turn down my ovens. They would, they would steal my recipe books. They would my walk-in would be misjumbled every day.
Wow.
Because they would rather have somebody else take my job than me there. So I remember one time I went and I found a toothpick in the mashed potatoes, big volume restaurant. Truffle mashed potatoes for dinner service. There's a toothpick in there. Thank God I saw it, because I took it out. And I went to the chef. I was like, "Listen, chef, somebody's really trying to mess with me here. They're trying to hurt somebody." He stopped. He stopped the whole kitchen. He's like, "Listen, if somebody messes with this guy one more time, everybody will be replaced, and I have no problem with that."
Wow, the old toothpick in the mashed potato routine.
So I had to
that could choke somebody.
Yeah, and guess how it would. Oh, who made the mash? Nikita, Hazard, boom. Out.
Done.
See, that's how it works. So I had to really kind of watch my back.
Turning down your ovens. I would have never even thought of that. Mess up
you
your
have
whole
creme
casserole.
you have creme brulee. Sweet. You want sweet? I got sweet scrambled eggs, fellas. Sweet scrambled eggs. But you learn how to pivot. You learn how to survive, and that's what life is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You learn how to pivot, survive, and you make the best out of the situation. And thank God I had all the recipes already. Up here, so
had it ready. Yeah. This reminds me. Have you seen the show The Bear?
Oh,
is that? Is that accurate? Or
it's a little bit too accurate, actually.
Yeah, right. I heard it's like perfect.
That was my life for 80 hours a week for a long time.
Wow. Yeah, like hearing you talk. It makes me think of. I watched like the first season. I was like, wow. It's like had me on like my anxiety.
She does a great job in the show portraying somebody who lives and breathes kitchen. Like,
yeah,
I had. All due respect, I had to shut it off because it gave me anxiety because it was a little too real. It was a little too accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's wild. So people trying to, that's hard, man, to pivot around people trying to sabotage you. And then,
and so still keeping your head high during that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're working at high volume, high stress level. I mean, that's a tough job in there.
And guess what comes with that all? A heavy dose of alcoholism.
You're drinking like crazy at this point. Is everybody back there drinking like nuts, flipping around steaks and roast beef?
Depends on the situation. It depends if the boss is there.
I could just imagine. The prep counter. People are doing shots. It's like, hey, that's supposed to go. That wine's for the chicken Alfredo.
I mean, I did it. I mean, that's the restaurant culture. I mean, you're working heavy hours. You're doing repetitive motions on a continuous basis for a long time in the heat, hot metal, oil flashing back in your face. Between the pan and the exhaust is your face. So acne central. You know what I mean? So you get acne. If you work in the back of the kitchen, I mean, you can scrub yourself silly, but you're always going to be a little bit smelling like kitchen. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean?
I always thought that about Chinese restaurants. Yeah. Like, I love Chinese food, and I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, they must go home smelling like a dumpling or like
the worst is the seafood market. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure. The shrimp. Yeah. So you're navigating through that, but I do want to get in. So did you? So you're working up there at then you also work down the city, though, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah,
right?
No, because we were going from, upstate. We were catering down. We had parties. We had events. And, I didn't work for one person. I worked numerous jobs. I worked for this caterer, and then I was a line chef.
It's like freelance. I guess catering is like bartending. I mean, you're doing different.
I mean, it depends on the situation. It's like, think of catering as like bringing the party, no matter what it takes, to any sorts of locations, no matter where it is. Like one time we closed down a zoo and did a whole catering operation in a zoo.
That's cool.
And, in parking garages on the side of the street, on high rises, in people's houses. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as you're capable of understanding the situation and adapting and making the customer happy with a good feeling as well. Because food is one thing, drinks are one thing, but the feeling that you leave them with, they might not remember, what they ate or what they drank, but they're going to remember how you made them feel during that whole experience. You know what I mean? So that to me is worth all of the that I went through. You know what I mean? Because like I went through sweat, blood, and tears to learn how to cook. Learn how to take Earth's ingredients and combine them in a certain way to make humanity happy. And I went through some pain to do that. And that's the point I'm trying to make here is if you're willing to be uncomfortable for a little bit and be comfortable in the uncomfortable and learn how to do that, you're going to reap the benefits. Be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And that's how I survived a lot of my situations. I mean, my parents were divorced when I was 10 years old. My father got sent away and my mother was left with my brother and I. So that's when I first started drinking. My father was a big authoritarian kind of person running the household, I grew up in a very rough Russian household.
Yeah.
Strict discipline. I was a gymnast during the week, and then I catered when I was old enough. We took the kids on the gymnastics apparatus during the weekends, and we trained during the week. So I was always, you know what I mean? That was just always my kind of MO in life, was like, doing something and getting done in order to, be safe and be financially safe and all that. So, being comfortable in the uncomfortable is something that not a lot of people understand. And when I try to explain that to them, they're like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm like, really? No, just think about it. Give up a little bit of yourself, no matter how hard it is. Trust the process, even if it's a shitty process, because, I believe in God. God will come out at the end and God will help.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it, man. You're real inspirational. Couple things that I just realized about you, man, is your artistry and your sense of dedication to craftsmanship and the craft. Like when you were talking about cooking and the presentation, I could see the artist in you.
Yeah.
Just in the way you're delivering that. It's about people's experience. It's not just about the food. It's not just about the drink, and that's all part of it, but it's the experience they have. I went to a pop-up one time that was like a pop-up dinner, and it was a chef. So probably similar to what it's reminded me now of what you were doing. It was downtown LA, and it was like this private event. It was really cool.
Yeah, I know those kinds of things. Those are really cool because a lot of people come and they expo their food, and you make friends and other chefs, and I'll try this.
Yeah, it was cool.
I know exactly what you mean.
They were real passionate, and it was the first time I went, wow, dude, these chefs are like, you know, I mean, I'm obviously, you know, I'm an actor and a playwright and a film director, and I you know, and I was like, oh wow, they're artists. This is art. I mean, you're creating an experience for us, you know.
You know, it's like the opposite of depression is expression. You know, so you know when you're down in the dumps, you know, and you're feeling a certain type of way, I can tell you I have. Yeah. You know, I write as well, cook. You know, there's a through line. I play drums as well. Timing in the kitchen and timing behind the kit. The through line, timing. Yeah. You know, when you're behind the line and you have like 50 orders, you know, and they're all different temperatures, different preparations, sauce this, sauce that, this, that, boom. You know, before you know it, you're like, what the hell's going on? The ticket machine is like, and then before you know it's like spiraling out of control. It's already on the floor. You're trying to expo it all out.
It's in your hair.
Yeah, you know, so it's cool to stay calm in those situations. So,
absolutely. And staying uncomfortable or staying comfortable in the uncomfortable. I love that, man. That's a great analogy for all things in life. Fitness, I mean, work, just always, you know, getting used to pain, right? Embracing pain. It's not being a sadist, but embracing difficultness and knowing that, because I think too many people try to avoid pain and try to avoid difficultness. Sometimes it's better to embrace it.
I used to with this. I used to try to avoid pain with this. And, you know, it's like the never-ending circle. Before you know it, you're like... Yeah. I can tell you, like, it came to a point, man, where it didn't even work anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's when it gets a little scary. You're like, holy God, like, you know, and I'll share with you, I'm sober 3.5 years.
Congrats.
You know, I don't drink alcohol, and, you know, I put all the effort I used to put into all of that, which, don't get me wrong, I had plenty of fun. But I put all this effort that I used to put into that, into, you know, contributing to society and being of service and being the best possible version of myself. I'm not perfect, you know, I could be an asshole sometimes, but, you know, I'm Nikita, and, you know, I'm happy of who I am today because I've been through some stuff, and I'm not saying that, you know, other people haven't. Everybody's story is different, and that's what makes life interesting. You know, there's so many different versions of yourself in other people's brains. So it's like, I used to worry about what other people thought of me, like hardcore, like anxiety-ridden, like shy guy. I mean, I remember in elementary school, ESL, English second language, because Russian was my first language, English was my second language, so I went to ESL, and I was put with, you know, all the kids that struggled with English. Yeah. So I learned English with them, and those were my friends. But it was really hard for me to actually be friends with other kids because I couldn't relate. Yeah. Couldn't relate. Remember I said Russian household, which means no television, just Russian radio. You know what I mean? And, you know, I remember, like, people would, like, say these things, you know, they would quote television shows, and I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. Yeah. You know, like, some kid came up to me one time, they're like, do you like fish sticks? I was like, what? And they were referencing that South Park thing. Oh. And I was just like, and everybody used to, like, kind of like, I hate to say it, you know, I was made fun of a lot, which made me stronger, which made me, you know, which made me really a stronger person because, you know, when you are always kind of treated badly and you finally find people that really celebrate you instead of tolerate you, you know those people and you stick with them because I've been, like I said, Mr. Toothpick, Mr. Sweet Scrambled Eggs. I've been through all that. So now I really, you know, I love making people happy, man.
Yeah.
Because I know how it is to be unhappy.
Right. Sure.
You know what I mean? It's a dark place.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think everybody has experienced to some degree, like you said, everybody's had their own trials and tribulations.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Definitely growing up. I mean, that's kids could be mean. So that it leaves a stain that leads into other things.
It makes you want to get good at stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So you come to LA.
Yeah.
Now you're pursuing acting?
Yes, I'm submitting, I'm doing my thing. I'm, marketing myself in the city of Los Angeles as an actor.
Nice.
I love the craft, and one day at a time, and we'll see. I see how God. I believe in God, and He'll definitely help me on my way over there. And I'm not doing it to get rich. I'm not doing it to be on a billboard. I can do other things to do that.
Sure. Absolutely.
But I just love the craft. I love putting life into words, and the process of script analysis and really becoming somebody else is really cool in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's good to hear, man. That's a breath of fresh air. In LA, we have too many people coming into the industries just to dress fancy and be famous, and it's not enough artists that are actually tackling.
But I want to be what can I add to? How can I make it better? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, how can you, like you said, express yourself through
absolutely.
different creative outlets? What have you trained at all?
Yeah, I did. I was in New York. I did training at HB Studio.
Oh yeah,
and 120 Bank Street with a lovely woman, Trudy Steibel.
Okay, shout out to HB Studio. I trained at HB Studio, and I also grew up on Hudson Street.
Oh wow,
that's where I'm from, Greenwich Village.
There you go.
So yeah, it's a great area, great school.
I used to drive from New York upstate, to the Hoboken Path train, and then cram on like sardines, and then go to school, and then literally go into the deli, because we used to do scenes from The Importance of Being Earnest, and we did the scene from Cucumber Sandwiches. So I used to go to the deli, and guess what I did? I made cucumber sandwiches, and I brought the water. I came in early, did the whole thing, and people thought I was insane. They were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We're doing a scene, right? We have to eat. We have to make it real. We have to bring tea." I brought tea, man. I brought tea in a thermos. I wanted steam coming from the coffee. I wanted steam, not just nothing. Everybody was sipping empty cups. I was like, no. Steam is necessary. Yeah. So we used to do that, and that's HB. And then I went and I trained at Stella Adler as well.
Great.
And with a lovely teacher, Patrick Cragliano.
Okay.
Great guy. Really close friend of mine, and
great school.
It's a wonderful place. It's a great place, and I used to drive back and forth because I wasn't living in the city. So, man, I used to, I remember taping my lines to the front of my car, and during the red light, just reading my part, just to, and then parking in the battery parking garage and making that thing my own. Parking in there, the machine's broken. They did $40 for 6 hours of parking. That was my place, because I rehearsed in the battery parking garage, and then I went to Stella Adler to do my scenes. So that's what I did for a long time, and it's just really cool to put life to words.
Absolutely. Did you do theater while you were out there in the city?
A little bit, but I had a whole chapter in Vermont as well. I lived in Vermont prior to all of this, and I did a few plays up there in Vermont Actors Repertory Theater, which is some small theater, but
doing the work.
Great memories there. I remember it was a wonderful cast, and it was not necessarily the nobody's ever heard of it, but I still have great memories from that place. So thank you. It was great. So,
that's great, man. Yeah, no,
I
that's
love
fantastic.
that place, man.
How about here in LA? Have you found an artistic home, or?
Well, I'm in right now. I have a few people that I talk to, and we're getting together. We're gonna film some scenes, and trying to find people that are who's gonna do the camera, who's gonna light, direct, like that. I'm in the process of developing my reel, so I have a lot of, let's just say, the plane that's just slowly backing up out of the terminal. Mm-hmm. And it's in the queue to take off. It hasn't taken off yet, but a lot of those things are in queue to take off. It's just a matter of time. I'm in such baby steps in my acting career, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'm just, one day at a time, and I'll get there. I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
It's like, what are we doing? Are we pursuing? Are we in the industry? Are we? I don't really know. But anyways, I started in 2010. I got introduced to theater in like 2008 in community college classes. But like 2010 is when I really was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I started a theater company here in LA. And, it's been amazing. We've produced, I don't know, 30 productions over the time, tons of like one-act festivals. And, he traveled the world at this point doing plays, Edinburgh, done the Fringes. And, but then like people will say like, so you're an actor? I go, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I don't think there's like when you say the plane's ready to take off, it's already taken off, man. You're doing it. You're an artist, right? Like artistry doesn't go away whether you're cooking, acting, writing, making films. I get bothered almost when people are like, I'm an actor, and it's like they're on a show and it's like, I'm an actor, and it's like, okay, you're an actor.
You throw a stone, you hit 12 of them in LA, like
everywhere. It's like everybody's an actor, but it's also like we're actors. People not even in the industry are actors. I just I think it's great that you're doing it. You're passionate. I could tell you're an artist. I love it. Tell you're eccentric. I could tell you have a style to you. That's I feel like you're the type of person that's going to be creating and evoking emotion and thought in no matter what you're doing. And you seem to take things serious. Like I love that you did the thermos and the steam, but as long as like you're doing all this stuff and I think it's genuine with you. I think you're doing it because you want to live in that moment, authentic and real to whatever that moment is. And
absolutely.
Some actors I talk to and they're like, yeah, they want to be like so method, like they're a Christian Bale and they're the next Daniel Day-Lewis. And it's like, dude, I've seen actors that are effortless that have done work with me that I've given scripts and they're like, they blow your mind. Yeah. And they have no agents. They've never done nothing on TV. Yeah. Then I have friends who are on TV. They've booked so many co-star, guest stars, and like, they're okay. I mean, they're good. They're not just getting lucky, but they're like not masterful. You're not like, wow, that person really. So this industry's so crazy, and it's I think that just doing what you're doing, and like you said, God will provide. You'll find the path. Whatever's meant for you is meant for you. And I think we shouldn't be hard on ourselves. I fall into that where I'm like, dang, man, I should be doing this. Sometimes I need reality checks. Like I do gratitude lists.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, damn, I'm doing a lot. Like but I feel like I'm not.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll piggyback on what you just said. I've been living in LA for about a year. Like a month, and a lot. And I wrote down a lot has happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I work for this wonderful catering company in Burbank. Shout out to Love Catering. Wonderful place, wonderful people, beautiful food, and I have an opportunity to work with them. And I throw wonderful parties at my apartment in West Hollywood, and I invite a lot of my friends and my partner Larry DeVoskin. He also invites a lot of his friends, and we have these wonderful, intimate, salons. So they call it. I throw down lamb. I throw down this classic New York sauce. Crudité, antipasto, like all that. And a lot of people come, and we have a grand time. We jam and stuff like that. And I had a really wonderful moment happen at one of the parties. My friend Barbara Lazaroff from Spago. In Beverly Hills, she came over and she tasted my lamb, and she said that this lamb is cooked to perfection. This is really, really quality lamb. Wow. And to hear it from her, it really, all those sweat and blood and tears that I put into, and I've served a lot of lamb in my life, but just to get validated like that, thank you so much, Barbara Lazaroff, for saying that. It meant the world to me. So that. Awesome. Like you said, we forget, the things we've done, and gratitude lists are wonderful, because it's like, wow, it's already, next Thursday already, I mean, you're wondering where the time went. So, it's, if you're not grateful, what are you, hateful then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well, Nikita, it's been an honor having you on. This is incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so you've dropped so many gems in here, man, that really have you just have my wheels going. So I'm inspired. Listen, at this point in the interviews, what I like to do is I like to have the guests hit that camera over there, and for somebody watching, somebody at home, somebody who's thinking, man, maybe I could, they're relating with you, or, what advice would you give them to pursue whatever it is that they want to do?
So, thank you so much for listening to me speak. I heard you. I hope you got something out of it. And what I will say is, whatever your path is, wherever you feel and dream to go there, because there's nobody that's going to ever stop you. There's nobody that's ever going to tell you that you're not good enough. They might try to. Believe me, they're going to try. Don't let it happen. Just keep pursuing it. Keep doing what you love. Always do it for yourself. Do it for yourself and nobody else. Because, believe me, higher power, no matter what that means for you, will bring you there. I promise that.
Oh, fantastic, man. Nikita, it's been an honor.
Thank you so much.
I think also, I believe we may be bringing you back to do an actual live at another time.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So we have a kitchen here in our studio, so I think we're going to film maybe
I would love to do that.
No, let's definitely do that.
I would love to do that.
So guys, there's going to be there's going to be a part 2. We're going to actually, Nikita's going to come in. We have a kitchen here at our studio, and we're going to do he'll be the first because our studio's new, and it'll be the first time using the kitchen, and we'll film it, and that's going to be an awesome time. So guys, here, let's wrap this up with my last thoughts of this interview. So this has been another great episode. These are some of the things I took out of this episode. We talked a little bit about the sacrifice that his parents made. Nikita's parents came over here from Russia. They made a sacrifice to provide, I don't know if it's, we say better life, but a life with more opportunities. America does provide that, and we're very proud about that. And I think all of us should remember that somebody in our genetic gene pool made that sacrifice to come over here. Most likely they came here and gave us that opportunity. Nikita's taken full force advantage of those opportunities. He's been working since he's 10 years old. Work ethic. He talked about work ethic. I love that. That was instilled in him from his father, his mother, and that was important. I think that's something that we're lacking a lot of right now in the world today is young people and work ethic. That's one of the most important things that we could learn and we could adapt to, is knowing that things are going to be difficult, and if we work hard, we could achieve and get anything we want. He just said in his closing statement, people will try to get in your way. Never, never see that as an obstacle that blocks you. Obstacles are meant to go around. People are going to get in your way. Always know that if you work hard, you stay dedicated, you keep the faith, you're going to get anything you want to get and you're going to achieve. And we're in the best place to do it, America. So I took a lot of things out of this interview. I'm excited to see what Nikita does for us on this cooking show. And till next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. FYI Podcast.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.